Speaking of which, look, man, I've been following this Ralph shit. And, look, I'll be the first to admit Ralph doesn't handle things well. Putting everybody's business on blast on Twitter, probably not how I would handle it, put it that way. But this thing between him and his future father-in-law now, and they're fighting, and now, like, they're talking about fucking with, like, Ralph's mom's ashes, dude. Like, I don't know, man. The more I watch this, the more I watch how the progression of internet people becomes, like, the less I want to be a part of this anymore. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, there's not really much anybody could do with me. Like I'm not as, easily fucking flustered, or as fucking, people don't get under my skin as easily as other people, but it's not like I'm worried about people doing that shit to me, because I don't have much left that's sacred in my life anyway. I don't really care. But man, there's like some shit that we just don't, there's some shit that you just don't do, man. There's some stuff there's a word, and I'm sure there's some Zoomers out there and some sociopathic people with anime avatars that'll be like, well, then I guess you just ain't got what it takes. Guess you're a fucking pussy. But it's like, there's a level I don't take shit to, and it's like, I don't know, man. When you start even teasing the idea of giving fucking your mom's ashes to a rival podcaster and shit, that's just fucking... It's bad juju. I've discussed this on my show before. It's bad juju. JB says, Mersh is the only internet person who got more mild IRL with internet fame. Probably not the only one. Other people have mellowed out, but I guess because I've just seen more, and I've seen weird people do weird shit, and you get to a point where you're like, oof, that's not a good look, homie. The Evil Ian says, fuck with someone's ashes, you'll be haunted for life, B. I mean, I really believe that. And I don't necessarily believe in ghosts or spirits or demons. Like, I'm not I get a little philosophical on this show, but I don't usually get supernatural. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in demon possession. I don't believe in a lot of the stupid childlike fucking explanations people have. But I just think that in a way, it just taints you. It just taints you. Like, look, I'm petty. I've admitted that before. I'm fucking petty, bro. I've done some petty shit. Bro, real shit. Years ago, I dated this chick, right? We were both cheating. Well, I wasn't cheating because I was in an open thing. So I was allowed. I was given a hall pass. But it was still considered cheating because my girlfriend hated this bitch. We kind of had an open thing, but it was like, please just not these 5 girls. And I was like, all right, and I fucked one of the 5. And it's like, I remember we had the nastiest fucking most toxic. This chick was one of the most toxic people I ever had in my life. It was mutually draining. And she brought out the worst in me and made me even worse. And I'm not blaming her for how I acted. I acted extremely toxic in this dynamic too. And I take full responsibility for all the like petty, awful shit I did to this girl too. But like, we just brought this out in each other. It wasn't good. And she eventually went back with her boyfriend. I broke up with my girlfriend at the time, and then I started dating this chick's best friend, which, fucking real petty asshole. But like a year or two went by, and when I was like kind of down and out, whatever, I had now by that time broken up with the best friend too, but I was still living with her. This was like right after I got my DUI, whatever. So while I'm living with this one chick who was the best friend of the toxic chick, right? The toxic chick broke up with her boyfriend. This guy started fucking my ex and coming around the house. And it was just to fucking get under my skin and shit, right? But he was also kind of a junkie, whatever. So like, as they started fucking, I ran into the toxic girl when I was out one night. and we hit it off. We were both a little tipsy. We were both kind of let water under the bridge. We kind of let bygones be bygones, and we were getting along again. We weren't going to fuck. We weren't going to date, but we were like, all right, let's agree to just put the past behind us. We'll be friends. Let's just be cool. So we started being cool. This guy robs our house, and I had my shit stashed really well. So he didn't find any of my drugs. He didn't find any of my money. But like he stole some of my shit, like some cologne and some basic shit. I think he stole a suit and some ties and some shit like that, whatever. Just and he robbed her and he stole some shit from the house. And then he just left town. And I got a text like that day when everything was being worked. You know, she called the police. They're doing all that thing, whatever. He leaves town. He also had borrowed her truck one night, drove drunk and crashed it. And he also fled that charge. And like she had to go deal with that because her car was involved. In Florida, if your car is involved, you have to it's a whole thing. He like just blew her life up and left, which was kind of funny because I hated my ex at that time. But the toxic chick, the ex, she hits me up bragging, talking all this cash money shit, right? Like, haha, fuck you. How does it feel? You guys, you know, fucking Kenny fucked you guys over. I think it's hilarious. Fuck you and that bitch, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I thought we were getting along again. So I realized I got worked. I got worked by this chick. And she was like, just being nice to me, like whatever. So she had texted me during our little we're getting along again phase. She's like, hey, I got this boss, right? And I want to fuck him over. Because he's been screwing me on shit and blah, blah, blah. And I want to fuck him over on the way out. How can I report him to the liquor board? Because I'm his bar manager and he has me putting like low level, like shitty well liquor and like topping off fucking top shelf with well liquors and shit. And it's all that's like illegal. You'll lose your liquor license. You get caught doing that, you're ruined. Because if they revoke your liquor license, it costs like $200,000 to get a liquor license in Florida. You lose a liquor license, you're out of business. Unless you got 200 grand in cash on you. So she was like, yeah, how do I fuck this guy over? He's doing this, he's doing that. He's also lying on his books. He's cheating on his taxes. She just gave me all the dirt, right? So that was like, you know, a week or two prior. This chick starts fucking texting me. Yeah, fuck you, you know, I'm so glad he took your shit. You're both losers. Fuck you. I never liked you. I'm like, all right, whatever. She didn't realize that I had befriended her boss, the owner of her club. The owner of her club had interviewed me for a GM position. It was a, you know, it was a black club and it was mostly jazz. It was a black jazz club. It was where the 35 and older black Kiss FM crowd would hang out. And I was like, you know, there's some stuff I could help you with the liquor side of things and the point of sale stuff, but this ain't my cup of tea. This ain't my demographic. I'm not going to do well here. Not because it's a black club, because I'd run black clubs. That's why he interviewed me. But I ran like black urban clubs. Like I know urban shit. I know the hood. I don't know this Kiss FM. I don't know church blacks. I'm good with church blacks, you know? So we kind of mutually decided that I wasn't right for the gig. And I'd taken a job somewhere else. But he started asking my advice on all sorts of shit with the bar business. And we're like, you know, whatever. So I befriended him, but she didn't know I was friends with him. So that day when she bragged to me about how her ex robbed our house and all this shit, right? I was in town anyway because I was going to this other club that I was working at now. And I was setting some shit up in the daytime. But the jazz club was like a couple of doors down. And I'm like, go pop in there and say hello to Eric. So I walked in there. And right away when I walked in, she was like, and like right away because she was the bar manager, she tells the security, like, don't let him in here. Don't let him in here. So they're like, hey man, I'm sorry, dog. I can't let you in here. And I'm like, yeah, tell Eric you won't let me in here. Go ahead. Go tell Eric you just kicked me out of here. I'll wait. I'll call him if you want. I'll text him. And I pulled his phone. Like I pulled him up on my phone. I'm like, I'll call Eric. You don't want this. You don't want that smoke. The guy's like, whatever, dude. Eric comes down. He's like, the fuck, man? Let my man in. What's up? He's like, hey, what's up, man? You know, we're all hugging and shit. He's like, yo, grab a drink, come up to the office. I go to her. I go right to her. And I'm like, oh, I have a meeting with Eric upstairs. Can I get a Jameson double, please? And she had to go get it. And I tipped her and everything. So I'm like, cool. Go upstairs, fucking hang out with Eric. And I showed him every goddamn text she sent me. Every single one. I watched him go downstairs and fire that bitch on the spot. On the motherfuckers, like right in front of me. He said, oh, word? Oh, okay. Come with me. Went downstairs and let me watch him fire her. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. She also ended up leading to, this is why I say vengeance is not always the best thing. She had a role in why my lawsuit never worked out with my old employer. She used to work for me. She was able to find some messages out of context between us personally when we worked together. It didn't make me look great. It didn't hold my lawsuit that I was fucking two of my bartenders. But it was definitely one of those. That's why I always tell people, be like, petty is fun. Petty feels good, but it doesn't, like, it's always like the eye for an eye thing sounds like a cliche, but it's true. It's like when you take somebody's eye, they're going to want to take two of your eyes, and it never ends. It never fucking ends. So it's like, I've learned over the years that you're like, is that impulse still in me to be petty and really try to hurt people that fucking hurt me? Yes. It's a natural fucking human instinct. But, you got to realize it's just like a fucking game of chess. Once you move a piece, you realize their turn is up now. That now they get to move a piece. And it never fucking ends. So, I try to stay out of the pettiness for the most part. I'll make fun of people and shit on people who shit on me, but it's like to give credit to even fake cancer guy who has brought up the difference between being an asshole, being petty, talking shit on the internet, fucking with people, or just life ruination shit. And I don't know, man. I truly feel like the more you get into this, the more to me, it's like revenge is like a drug. It's just like sex or drugs or any other thing, alcohol, food. If you say yes 100% of the time, you open your life up to a lot of, repercussions, let's say, and it never fucking ends. So it's kind of gross. As Koso in the chat just said that, and that's why Ralph should take the high road. I'm not saying he's known for taking the high road, and I'm not even saying that if given the opportunity to desecrate an enemy's ashes that he wouldn't do that. But unfortunately, we won't know because he's never been given any ashes. I do know that the other side of this equation is threatening to or implying that they're going to defile somebody's mother's ashes. And that's, I'm sorry, Koshi, I agree with you. Somebody should take the high road. But the minute you're fucking with a dude's mom's ashes, are you on the high road anymore? Or have you now taken the low road? Because it's I'm just saying, buddy, everybody I've seen that has tried to outlaw Ralph, it's ended up not being good for them, getting consumed by this. We've seen what's happened to the people that want to destroy my life at every turn. It becomes an obsession that draws so much energy and focus out of other areas of your life that are productive for you that it's not healthy. It's not healthy. And I'm not pretending to be some kind of life coach or a bastion of mental health, but I think that I've gone from, going from like barely having a roof over my head to being broke and not knowing what the future is and knowing what's going to happen to me. And, I try to remind myself, I've been depressed a couple months this year. I've been going to the gym. I crashed my car. I've had some shit that's just, I've had setback after setback, and I've had to rewire myself. I've had to remind myself to be grateful and thankful for shit. I have to, the longer we do well, the more complacent I am and the more I take it for granted. And I try to kind of smack myself in the face every once in a while and fucking remind myself, like, where were you 5 years ago, 6 years ago? Where were you 7 years ago? Where were you 8 years ago? Almost 9 years ago, you were in handcuffs. 3 months later, your car was repoed. Your license was suspended for like years. You were fucked over. You had no job. You were blacklisted from strip clubs. You started this podcast with Royce. It was the third podcast you started together, so you didn't have a whole lot of high hopes it was going to go anywhere. But it was my only hope for anything to ever work out for me, and it's worked out. And it's like you have to take stock in that shit sometimes. Maybe I'm rambling. I'm sorry if I'm rambling tonight, but it's just a little... I'm too sober for this shit right now. But I saw that shit and it just, I don't know, man. It gave me the heebie-jeebies when I saw them like implying that they're gonna fuck around with somebody's mom's ashes. It's like, oh, that's not a good. Like, I wouldn't want that in my life. Like, I could tell you right now, that would be a deal breaker. You know, we always talk about like how people are always like, oh, Mersh and Royce, they're going to break up. They had a fight today. They're going to break up. Royce and I fight all the time. We had an argument in New York. We were fucking yelling at each other for like half hour in New York one night. It happens sometimes. And then everybody gets up the next day and we get back to work and we get back in a groove and everybody apologizes and we move on. Like adults. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm sorry too, dude. It's all good, bro. It's just, you know, sometimes people get a little pissed. You know, people get a little, you know, a little liquored up and you have a little fucking whatever. But it's like the next day, you're like, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I'm sorry that I got a little fucking lit last night. If Royce told me, hey, man, I've got so-and-so's mom's ashes and we're going to fuck with it on the air. That might be the, you know, we always talk about, oh, they'll never break. That would be a deal breaker. And I'm pretty sure it would be a deal breaker for him too. If I came in and said, I've got like insert enemy's name here and I got his mom's ashes right here, dude, we could do a whole bit with it. I would be disappointed. Even if I did that as a test, I would be disappointed if he didn't say, get the fuck out of my house. Bring all of that bad juju the fuck out of my house right now. We're not doing that. And I will not do the show anymore. You know what I mean? And I would like, so I don't know, man. There's just, there's some darkness floating around out there, man. There's some people doing some really sick shit. And I don't know, dude. I don't know how much longer this shit is a fucking sustainable thing for people. Let's see. James's mother's ashes, Chubby and Sweat says. You talking about James Clark? Why would anybody fuck with, like, I would never do that to James Clark. I think you're misrepresenting, like, or misunderstanding what we're talking about here. James isn't like an enemy. James is some tard we make fun of, okay? James isn't a threat, and James isn't fucking, you know, he's not like, it's not like he's done anything to any of us that's made us go, that son of a bitch, he's fucking going down for this. Like, he's never even, you know, he's like, we're sitting in a fucking, we're sitting in modern day tanks and he's in it's like we're playing Civilization. We're in tanks and he's firing bow and arrows at us. Nobody cares about James. I'm talking about real, like, fucked up people that have done fucked up shit to us in our lives. You know, like my ex-wife or it's the ex-girlfriend that robbed me or people that have been really bad to me that I would love to get back at, you know? If somebody mailed me a thing and said, these are the ashes of so-and-so's mother, I would go, I would contact, even if they were my worst enemy on this planet, I would contact that person immediately and say, hey man, somebody's trying to fuck with you and fuck with me. They sent me what they say is supposedly your mom's ashes. That's fucking disgusting. If you give me a mailing address or something, I'll have it sent to you overnight. I'll have it fucking insured priority mail. I don't want none of this fucking shit in my life. That is your shit to have. So I don't know. That shit's just a little dark for me. A little fucked up for my taste. And I don't care for it. Hey, Ricky the Mouth, tell me I've been talking about something too long again. Hey, guys, let's give Ricky the Mouth another chance. Hey, Ricky, tell me what to do one more time. I'll wait. We'll give Ricky the Mouth. He's got 20 seconds while cooldown's going on, and we'll fucking We'll do that. Keegan fan says, way too dark, homie. I'm not doing any of this shit. It's what's going on right now. Don't fucking blame me.